this. And I notice at the beginning, it's not included. I don't see an equals mark here. So let's go up to 1 at this point. Looks like it's gonna be open, as I think I saw on papers here. By the time I reach 2, with that equals mark, says you may include that one. And you've got something like this going on. Do we agree? I think this is what I saw on papers. The second piece, and we're doing blue, says now caught between -1 and 0. Well, -1's over here. -1, yeah, that's supposed to be included. Go back and put this in. -1, the x replaced by -1 is -1. So we're down here at -1. And it looks like, guys, see if you agree with me, should that be included? And then we'll put 0 in, the way it's written. Replace x with 0, of course you get 0. And that's supposed to be also included. And see if you guys agree. Is that it? Let me see by a show of hands, how many students think they did get that? You got those 2 pieces. Now, extra credit, we're not going to do it right now. An extra credit type problem on the exam. I have a couple of extra credit on the exam. The extra credit might be this. Just think about this. I'm not going to do it. I might give the graph to you first. I might go ahead and grab it for you. And guess what I'm going to ask you to find? This. By observing the graph, you find the function, the graph, ping pong. And that would be like an extra credit. Okay? Guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to just point out here in my notes. Now, please appreciate this. Just one side here today. Guys, I jumped in the textbook and I went through each section. 2.3, 2.4, and 2.7. Can you believe this? Your professor condensed this down to 1 page for you. Isn't that nice? Rather than you going through and reading on your own, you should read it on your own, of course. But 2.3, 2.4, and 2.7, you don't have this yet, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, did we? Oh, you picked that up yesterday. Did I pass that out to everyone else? Oh, was that passed out already? 2.3, 2.4, and 2.7? Looks like this? Ah, beautiful.
I'd say.
Oh, hang on. You mean I stopped at FedEx this morning, made these copies, and already done this? Oh, nice then. That's where I'm gonna be. Let me tell you a little short story about FedEx. Yes? You don't have one, right? Guys, I stopped at the local FedEx near home to make my copies before I come to class. And since I'm in there so much, they know me. And most of those who are working are students. But they're attending another local community college, another college, not SMC. But they get to know me. They see me there so much. And so they come up, and sometimes the machine will, I'll do all my copies myself. Sometimes the machine will mess up, and I'll have to call one of those to come over. Something's jammed, and I don't want to open it up and mess it up. So could you please fix that paper jam for me? So they know me. So pretty soon they strike up conversations with me as I'm standing there. And I say, Mr. Ramsey, they see all this math. They say, you teach math? I said, yeah. They said, where? I said, at Santa Monica College. I said, why, are you taking math? I just, students like you guys. I said, are you taking math? Oh yeah, I'm taking math. But they named the college, which I won't name. They named the college where they're attending. I said, well, first you're attending the wrong college. No, you're not SMC, you're attending the wrong college. Then they get over that. And all of a sudden they get friendly with me. And all of a sudden, guess what happens? I'm over there making copies, and one walks over with his math textbook. I thought, what's this? I'm not teaching right now. What's this? Ramsey, could you help me out with a couple of problems that the professor at the college there asked us to do? I said, stand here and you're asking me to do that? I'm trying to make my copies and get out of here and get to campus. Could you help me out? So I said, yeah, okay. I said, teacher, I thought, oh, my heart's there. Let me see what it is. So I looked at the problems and I helped him out. He felt better. He said, oh, those are the answers. I said, of course those are the answers. I said, you feel better about now how to get those answers? Oh, I feel better, Professor. Thank you so much. So I said, don't leave yet. You're paying for these copies. You're paying for these copies. I can tutor students free. So I think if you work there, I think they give you an allowance of some sort where you might be able to make copies free, so many copies. So I don't know whether you actually have to pay for it by just giving to him. But he made the copies for me. Darn it. And you guys are saying we break out the copies. He made the copies for me. Okay. This is what we're going to do. We have not looked at it though, at all, have we? No. I'm checking my time here. We've got about 10 minutes, and we've got a little short quiz tonight. We've got to be careful with it. Guys, section, let me try to find where it is. Yes, I'm going to get at least this much done here. Section 2.3. Now you said, Professor, where's 2.1? We skip that. 2.1, I think, is just some information. 2.2, no. We're going to start with 2.3. Just jump right into it. Now, 2.3, I have all these handouts now right here available, but here's what's going to be happening before I close down and take a break here. It says methods of solving a quadratic. If you don't know the methods of solving a quadratic by now, even with me, we have issues. How can I find the answers, the two zeros they call it for a quadratic? You can factor. You use quadratic formula, or you could complete the square. Now, where did some students lose points on that last quiz? The very first question on that last quiz was to solve by completion of the square. What did they do? They used quadratic formula. They lost all the points. Now we'll see completion of the square. So completion of the square, quadratic formula, factor. Now the first one looks like, oh my goodness, guys, it says complete the square. I'm looking at my time here. We should definitely know how to complete the square by now. We'll skip that one. Number 2, it says please solve this one. X to the 4th, we'll call it g of x. X to the 4th plus 4x squared, subtract 32. Now say, wait, Professor, that's not a quadratic. The highest exponent is 4. For a quadratic should be the highest exponent is 2. But it seems like on the side there I said to do something that may change this to a quadratic. I think I said, what, let u be something? I think we sort of looked at this in this class. Does anyone have an idea of what might I let u be? Go back and make a substitution and turn this into a quadratic.
X squared.
X squared. It's usually, for all of us, it's usually this term right here, in the middle. Now, if u is equal to x squared, I know and you know that that first term, x to the 4th, could be expressed as x squared squared. That's x to the 4th. If I make that u substitution, we're going to write this as u squared plus 4u, where's my 4? 4u, subtract 32, and we'll set this equal to 0 since we're trying to solve it. Now please tell me, is the red a quadratic?
Yes.
And therefore now I can solve it. I'm going to factor. I didn't specify what method to use here. I'm going to factor myself. I think so we'll factor to u plus what? 8, is it? Maybe u subtract 4. Let me step back and look at it. Yes. Split this up. You are now considering this. This is all work for us. And this. Now are we finished? No, they said solve for x, and the replacement was u is equal to x squared, so you got x squared is equal to a negative 8. X squared is equal to 4. Now what would you do in an attempt to get the answers? There should be, that's the degree, highest exponent, there should be 4 zeros, 4 answers. Are there? If I try to solve this one, what would I be attempting to do? Take the square root squeeze that in, and you say plus minus, professor, because it's a quadratic there, square root -8. Now, at this point in the math we have right now, would I have to stop? Yes, until a little bit later. Right there, I've lost 2 zeros. This one, though, if I do a square root, I think this one's doable. X is equal to plus minus 2. And therefore, my 2 zeros of the 4 that I was looking for are these 2. And we're done. Now, I've got 5 minutes here. Can anyone tell me in this class, what might the other 2 have looked like of those 4 that I could not at this point do? Does anyone have an idea of what this one might look like? And it's going to start looking like that soon as we move into chapter 2. What might that look like? Okay, hang on. He's saying, Professor, I know when you finally get to it, I know where you're going, Professor. Square root -8, you're saying, Professor, it could be expressed like this. It's still -8, isn't it? Does anyone recall what square root -1 was represented as in math? It's an imaginary number. So it's an I, we use the I notation, this is plus minus I, and then of course I still got square root 8. This is all coming up pretty soon. So I'm just going to do it now. Now, square root 8 is not perfect. It's not square root 16, it's not square root 25, but it can be simplified. Can anyone simplify this part for me? And then we'll write the answer down. What is square root 8 simplified? 2 root 2. First, let me write this down in case the students have forgotten. It's that. And then I'm hearing students say, Professor, it's 2 root 2. So when we finally get there, I'll have the other 2 of the 4, and that would be plus minus, x is equal to plus minus, 2I radical 2. But they're imaginary. Okay? If I say find the real zeros, this is the best I can do. Later on, I'll say find all. It will also include these 2. Now, I got 5 minutes. We'll stop there. Got another little story to share with you. A little break time here. Before we take a break. Talking about the middle school so much across the street. Of all the semesters I've taught here at SMC, I've taught this MATH2 course. And during the regular semesters, fall and spring, I do it at 5 o'clock.